Hi Aditya,
Hi,
welcome to Sudeep Audio's channel.
my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Um, could you please run us through quickly your journey in the engineering
Space.
space?
Yeah, I was pretty much born into a recording studio. The apartment where I was born, the hall was my dad's recording studio. The bedroom was the booth, and we used to pretty much live in the kitchen and outside, and that's all there was to it. So whenever there was recordings, my mom used to take me outside the house, and I had to be outside the house until the recording was over, and then I come back. So this is, I think, this is where. Subconsciously it started getting into me that this is who I'm going to be or I want to be one fine day. uh,
Nothing else excited you for
Not really.
becoming a
I was very clued into this uh,
childhood?
right from day one. We had, of course, we moved into many much bigger studios after that, and Rahman used to do all his jingles. My dad used to engineer for him, uh, and it was my sort of playhouse. I would finish school, come back home, go to my dad's studio, and just run around the place and be all excited about all the knobs. And uh, so it was pretty much something that I always knew right from day one that someday I want to do this. I look up greatly to my dad, and hence I think I found my calling here. I wanted to be an engineer, so I went to Full Sail in Florida. Dad sent me there, and I finished the sound engineering course there. Uh, it's, I think, by far one of the best schools for sound engineering in the whole world. This is something I would like to speak about today. And so, finishing that, I moved to LA for a bit. I did a little small gigs there. Was a DJ there for a small short while, assisting in some studios for a short while in Hollywood. And one fine day, Rahman wrote me an email saying, "Why don't you come back to Chennai and work?" So I said, "I'd love to, but I need some other experience first." And so what I did is I called up Sood Sab, and so that was my first assisting job in India. I at Western Auto with Daman Sood and Avinash Shok. So I was there for a year.
How old were you at that
I
time?
was 18
Oh,
or yeah 18 19 when I joined Daman Sood.
alright.
And what happened is, as soon as I joined, I think in less than 12 months, Western Auto had to shut down. So then I remembered Rahman's offer and I went back to Chennai, where I'm from. And that's it. I joined him as his full time engineer. So it was H. Sridhar, Sivakumar, and myself at this point of time. Um, with him, I have worked on not less than 45-50 films so far. A lot of theatrical projects like Lord of the Rings, Bombay Dreams, uh, numerous shows, maybe 50 plus or 60 plus live shows worldwide, a lot of ads, a number of
What
things.
have you kind of imbibed from his working style? Because a lot of people look up to him as a
So the
pioneer.
biggest thing is patience. That's, I think that's the biggest virtue that uh, I've inherited from Rahman, is pure patience, because this industry is there. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of people, a lot of pressure, delivery dates, too many people, producers telling you what to do, what not to do, everybody giving their point of views and opinions. You just got to keep it cool, play along, but don't lose your top, because you have to be liked in this industry. You can't be somebody who's spoken about badly or who's not nice to work with, and that's going to affect your the amount of work you get or the amount of people you meet. So you got to be pretty much cool in this industry and
So the word
be a
gets
nice guy,
yeah. So
basically.
the word gets spread out very quickly that
Yeah.
whether this is a good guy or
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
not such
It's
a good
more
guy.
important than being a good sound engineer. It's more important than being a good recording engineer or whatever. Is first and foremost, pass out good vibes, be a positive guy, and be a happy guy to be around. happy person to be around, guy or girl, whatever. That's going to definitely take you places, and a lot of patience. These two things is optimum. I think losing it too often or being very irritated or something like that in the studio is not a good space to be, and people are not going to want to work with that.
What made you come to Bombay since you were in Chennai and then you started your own studio in Bombay?
So the biggest thing here was, so my dad had this business, Modi Digital, where we were distributing a lot of products. So the thing is, he fell ill. So there was two choices in front of me, in front of him, whether he wanted to continue his business or he needed to shut it down because of his health reasons. So me being a son, I couldn't see that happening. I'm very close and attached to, like I said from before, I have been close and attached to his business and his work. And so I said I'll take it up from now on. So I had to request AR if I can move on now. It was 5 years after I joined him, and he was a bit upset at the start, but he took it well because he knows my dad really well also, and so I moved here. I said I'll set up in Bombay because Chennai is got very limited scope, and that's why I'm here. I still wanted to continue my passion, which is sound engineering, and hence made the studio.
Right.
And side by side, I take care of his business.
So you don a lot of hats. You
Yeah.
set up studios.
Yeah.
You distribute several products. You reseller for many other brands.
Right.
You also own a studio.
Right.
You have staff, etc.
Right.
You're recently married.
Right.
So how is it? I mean, how is life shaped up, and how do you kind of manage, juggle?
So this is also again something I learned from Rahman. When I initially saw him, he would switch projects. He would switch between songs, between films, between countries, as though we were just taking an auto rickshaw from Andheri to Bandra. He just said, "Let's work on Mani Ratnam's film," and then within 30 minutes we would say, "Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's go to London and work on Bombay Dreams." And we would go there for 15 days. There he'd have some brand new ideas, and he would be everywhere, all over the place at the same time, and managing everything so well. I like this, and I said, "This is I would like to at least emulate it at 1%, because what he does is a completely different level." So today, yeah, I am able to, or hopefully able to, build studios, build AV installs for whatever churches or
Yes.
hotels. I do mixing, I do recording in between.
Is it a little stressful?
I do
With
live
doing
gigs.
so many things?
At times there are crunches. Everything comes together. I think like right now.
Okay.
But more or less, I think I've managed well. So it's okay.
Great. That's good to know. You said that you educated at one of the world's finest
Yeah.
colleges for audio.
Full sale. Yeah.
We have a lot of schools mushrooming up
In India.
not just Bombay but different parts of the country.
You're right.
And there are a lot of students, I'm sure, who come to you after
Right.
they pass out,
Right.
asking you for a job,
Right. Right.
or coming with a lot of hope of earning
Absolutely.
in lakhs of rupees, those kind of a
Absolutely.
thing. What would you like to?
So
tell
yeah,
them?
I think this is a topic which is very heartfelt by me. I've seen in the last 7 to 10 years of my life in this industry that the education for sound engineers and audio engineers has mushroomed and quadrupled, and there's, I think, innumerable schools in India today that teach some sort of sound engineering or the other. I'm not sure how good they are. So since I own a studio and since I am involved in a couple of different things, I do get a lot of students coming out from these various schools, coming and approaching us for jobs. Today the whole dynamics of a studio is not as it was before, where you needed 3 assistant engineers to patch cables or to set up the mic stand, and there's a big orchestra where you need 10 mics and you need a lot of things. So there isn't all these things today. There are, you can count the number of such studios in India on less than one hand. So the number of jobs for assistant sound engineers is drastically less in India. There isn't much at all. The main engineer is pretty much capable of doing everything himself. There's no more patching. There's pretty much one or two mics to be set up, which are usually set up, and mixing and recording is all got templates. It's all in the box. So therefore, there is really less scope, I think, for uh, starting sound engineers in India. Having said this, I'm not here to discourage them, because it's a very passion driven job. It is great to be here. You get to work with music day in and day out. You get paid for it, and I think it's one of the best jobs that is there out there. But students need to be aware of what they're going into before they spend their money, before they and land up after that. They have to know from somebody, or there has to be some sort of service or counseling, that what is sound engineering, what is the life beyond after college, after you learn sound engineering. How are you going to hold yourself, stabilize, pay your bills, pay your loans, etc. Is it possible even? um, it is very difficult, honestly. For I think there are no less than at least 100 to 120 sound engineering pass outs every 2 months in India. There are not so many jobs. People, they have to either do one of the following: they have to become a freelance engineer and really work very hard, because the top space is all taken care of already. We There are engineers who are very well settled and who take up the top space of the Bollywood or the Indian music industry, and there is really no space for newcomers at this moment. It will take all of them time. It has taken me 10 years to be where I am.
What could they do? Because since they've already gone
Yeah,
through the process, what do you think they could?
see, there is so let me give you a small example. In Full Sail, the fees today to pay to do the sound engineering course is, I think, around $80,000. So that's a hell of a lot of money. Now, when I paid this and I went to Full Sail, the first day, the day one, the first class, believe it or not, they taught us how to make coffee. And people were wondering what the hell is happening. We pay so many lakh of rupees and then come and they're teaching us how to make coffee. What's going on? So the professor explained to us that this is going to be your first job out there. You better know it now.
So it happens even there.
Absolutely, worldwide. This is standard.
There's nothing Indian.
No. Sound engineer's life is like this. This is the truth. So the university where I studied, Full Sail, is called Real World Education. So they train you exactly how it is going to be after you leave the college. And the first thing you're going to do is pretty much make coffee and run errands. This is your stepping stone. And if you got too much ego to do that, it's not going to work. So I might not be literal in what I'm saying, but these kind of jobs or on the same plane is what you have to do to start off in this industry.
Right.
When I joined Rahman, I was very much making coffee for everybody there, and I loved every part of it. So there's nothing to hide about it. It's the truth. You're going to face it. But know the difference between composing, know the difference between DJing and sound engineering. A lot of people are confused in these three things. They want to be a DJ and they join a sound engineering course. They want to be a composer and they join a sound engineering. I think musicians are definitely not cut out to be sound engineers. You need a lot of patience. A sound engineer needs to know music, is a different story. But a guy who wants to be a musician, he should not enter this. He should just know the very basics, which he should not go to a school for. He can learn online or whatever. But these three are distinct aspects that people need to know before joining any university, any college for sound engineering. This is definitely what I feel about it. And once they are out there, after they have finished this, like I said before, they have to try and find work by themselves rather than being an assistant to somebody, because that's going to take forever to get somewhere. So do jobs for free, do short films, do ads, hook up with friends. It's not a very famous quote by one of my professor. It's not who you know, but who knows you. You might know anybody, but do they know who you are? That makes the difference. If they don't know who you are, it's no point. You can very comfortably say, I know Shankar Ehsan Loy or Rahman or anybody. It's no point until they know you. So you have to try and make an impression upon them. Today, I think with the advent of all social media and viral stuff and everything, it's easy, especially for singers and everybody, to get their talent out there. And I think sound engineers can use platforms like SoundCloud, etc., to get their mixes out there, and people are listening to this stuff. And so that's a kind of database, or that's a kind of CV that a sound engineer needs to build up for himself. Do creative stuff, and put it out there. I think be friendly, meet people. Um, of course, studio people are very busy, and they are not comfortable to entertain new students all the time. This is something I have taken up as a personal wish, challenge, I don't know what, but whoever approaches me, who's a pass out from any of these universities, I welcome them to stick on for 10 or 15 days, do a small stint, see what is it like in the studio really. Because these opportunities people need to give these students. If there is no, everybody is going to chuck everybody out, kya experience hai, kya hai, what are they going to do? They need somebody to help them start. So I would ask, request, encourage all other studio owners, engineer friends of mine, to take these people for short whiles. Let them see what it is. Maybe one will click, maybe they don't. But don't push them off from the gate itself. Give them a chance. They're here for a reason, and somebody gave us a chance. So we need to reflect upon that.
Great. Thank you for sharing the real world with the viewers, and we will in the next part catch up with you, and maybe you could show us some techniques that you use.
Let's get into more less philosophy and more sound engineering next time.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. Thanks a ton.